Hey, how you doing, Duff here? You are in the hobby room, and behind me is that printer I've been talking about receiving. There it is. Yes, it's the Jguarora, if I'm saying that, pronouncing that correctly. I'm not sure if I am or not. Jguarora A5. I think it's the A5, yeah. So we're going to unbox and we're going to set it up. You might have seen at the beginning of the video I have already rearranged my desk somewhat. I've removed the Neva from the workbench, and we're going to be just shifting things around and kind of putting the new printer where that one resided. Okay, this printer was purchased by me from GearBest. I ordered this, let me look up my order date. Okay, so this printer was ordered on the 17th of April, and today is the 26th. So it only took 9 days to get here from China, believe it or not. I actually ordered it when I got notification through the affiliate program of a coupon link for the Jguarora, because I had been looking at it because I saw it on the SandTube YouTube channel. VJ seems to like his quite a bit. And I like the large scale format, which at least in the X and Y level matches the CR10 in size, which would give me some flexibility there. So that's why I got it. I think I paid with shipping. I think with shipping it was $4.26 to the door, I believe. Things I like about the design of this printer is it reminds me of my Anycubic i3 design, where the control box is right underneath the print bed. So it doesn't take up as much space, nearly as much space as something like a CR10 would. The other nice thing is this printer is almost completely assembled. It looks like it's going to probably require a similar amount of work as the Anycubic to get it together, which is not that much at all. The printer seems to be packaged well. Each thing has its own compartment, very securely packed in standard styrofoam. Alright, so with my workbench configuration here, I already noticed an issue. As you can see, I have it all the way back against the back rail there. And doing that, the front foot hangs off the front, which means the whole printer would be tilted down, which I don't want. So I have two ways to address that. I either remove the backing, although I think I'm going to wind up putting it over here, or I try to relocate the feet on the bottom, which is what I'm going to try to do. Alright, so the normal position for the feet is here, but what I see are two unused threaded openings right here. So I'm wondering if I'm able to possibly move those two front foot pads there using some different screws. Alright, I think this might just work. Taking out the old screw. And the screw that I'm putting in is an 8mm M3. I already did the one right here. Let's do the other one. It's a little more narrow than the factory setup for these pads, but I don't think it's going to matter. It should still be fine. This is a heck of a lot easier solution than trying to remove that backer piece on the bench. Yeah, that feels good. So we're going to give that a shot and see if that fixes my issue. Alright, that problem looks fixed to me. Got an inch and a half to spare or something like that. Looks good. Okay, sorry for that little sidebar there. Just wanted to make sure that I had proper space to do this. On the table you'll see everything that was in the box. Some yellow filament, spool holder, the gantry, which is impressive. It's one solid piece. I don't think you can get much more stable than that. And then the actual platform slash power box slash control box right here. and some instructions, which I don't expect there to be a whole lot of them. Let's see what's inside the 3D printer parts and toolbox. Got the power cord, we have a spare nozzle, warranty card, I'm sure that'll come in handy, I hope not. The screws that are needed, USB cable, which I'll probably never use, some tools, and a USB drive, very similar to what's in, came with my FlashForge Finder actually. And a piece of plastic, oh, interesting. This is what they send you to level the bed. Instead of a piece of paper, it's very thin plastic. So I should be able to use that. Use that multiple times in the future. And included with this is a very funny note, which I don't think you can see in the camera, but it says, "Warm tips. To whom it may, the product you purchase is a DIY kit machine. Based on responsible attitude for customers, we have done lots of tests before delivery. The joint of main body and base as well as nozzle has slight abrasion. We stress this is a normal phenomenon. Won't affect the printing accuracy and artistic appearance. Please excuse this trouble. Thank you very much." Well, that was polite, I guess. Alright, there's this piece of cardboard that was wedged in the bottom of the platform here, so I removed that. Just looking at it, looks like we got a Bowden extruder. I believe this is a filament out detector. Trim head looks small, smaller than any of my other printers that I've run into. At least a cooling fan, I should say, is smaller. I guess it's nice. It's nice that everything is so concealed and hidden and clean looking until something goes wrong. So hopefully I don't have to dig into it very much, because I can see that, you know, if you had to service something, it might not be the easiest thing. And I'm already seeing an issue. Check that out. See how stretched that fitting is. When you compare it to the other side, definitely abnormal. Let's see if I can fix that. It's funny, look what I happen to have. A replacement collet. It's funny, I actually bought this shortly after getting my CR10, because I read about so many of the CR10s shipping with this collet malformed and stretched out like this one is. And I bought it just in case. My CR10 was fine, so I didn't need it, but I still have one, so hopefully it's the same size as what the Jguarora uses, and hopefully I can figure out how to get in there without a lot of hassle. This was not the way I wanted my Jguarora experience to begin. At least I get a good feel for how tough or easy it is to try to fix something. It has a dual Z axis, dual Z motors. So there's a possibility that I could have not seen this, and it may have still worked. Because just the one Z motor would have handled it, but I think eventually this would have definitely turned out to be a problem. So it looks like there's just these two screws that hold this motor on. I have to loosen the screws here on the collet a little bit more, I think. Alright. Got this slid off. And I just need to get it off the motor and hope that my replacement fits. It does look slightly different than the one that I got for the CR10, but hopefully it still will work. I'll let you know. Alright, I got the fitting off. So now, let's see. Oh, damn it. The rod size is different. This is the Jguarora. Here's the one I got for the CR10. Shit. Alright, so after doing a quick search online, it's obvious that I'm not alone with this issue. Other people have reported having issues with this Z coupler being stretched. on a brand new printer. I did find a 3D version of a coupler as a temporary fix, which I'm printing right now on the FlashForge Finder. But I also am ordering replacements on Amazon already. So yeah, it is a little bit disappointing, but I have a feeling, like I said, that this is something that if people aren't looking for it and didn't notice it, it might print just fine until this thing snaps totally. So I'm going to put this back in, get the printer running, and see what happens. And you know what? I'm a dumbass. You've heard me say that a lot when it comes to 3D printing. So I looked at this, and I'm like, oh wow, well look at the hole on that. And look at the hole in my one that I had as a spare. They're not the same size. Alright, well, guess what? One side is smaller to fit on the shaft of the motor, one side is bigger to fit on the Z-rod. So I think what I have will actually work. Yep, fits just fine. This replacement that I have for the CR10 is not a perfect match. It's not quite as tall as the connector that came with the Jguarora, but I think it'll be just fine. I had to like just push it up a little bit so it's not sitting all the way down on the shaft, but just plenty of it on there. It feels nice and secure. So, but I guess the real test will be whenever I get this thing to print, huh? All right, reattaching the motor. So I'm getting some first-hand experience with what's involved with working on this. It's not convenient, but it's doable. So, alright, so I have the motor attached. I just need to reattach the grub screws here to attach it to the Z-rod. Okay, so that's back in there. Feels secure, feels tight, not stretched. So, yeah, crisis averted. Of course, it's not a good thing that you're shipped a brand new printer with a stretched coupler, but it's not that uncommon, unfortunately. So, glad I was able to rectify that, and I still am printing my 3D version of it, 3D printed version of it on my Finder, just for fun. Let's continue the install process. Alright, so this part of it seems very similar to the i3 Mega. Basically setting the frame up, and we're passing the base through it. Let's try it this way. That's not good. Oh, okay, there we go. Alright, so I just need to see how the screws line up in the bottom. That's kind of funny. As you saw, it kind of just fell into place, but it actually aligned itself perfectly. I'm not usually that lucky. This thing feels super sturdy, man. Good. Yeah, I think it's going to go there. I was thinking about putting it over here, but I think having the tool rack there and the shelf above, it's going to be problematic, so we'll leave it over here. Alright, moment of truth. I'm going to turn the thing on, see what happens. Nothing bad yet. Alright. Lids. I think first up we need to load some filament, don't we? Okay, we're homing all axes. This will be a good test to see if my replacement of the Z connector was successful. It's moving. That's good. Okay, you can see the, I'm sure someone will tell me how to pronounce this correctly. I'm probably pronouncing it incorrectly. Jguarora, Jguarora, I don't know. But you do see it printing behind me. I have it printing the included cat model, the Lucky Cat model, or Money Cat, Lucky Cat, something like that. And I did not cover the step-by-step of loading filament and leveling because I wanted to go through it myself and not subject you to my buffoonery as I'm trying to figure out how it all works. So now, after doing that and getting the print successfully started, I just wanted to give a brief overview of how the process works. Okay, so right there is my spool holder. It goes into the filament detector, which is connected to the extruder. Now, having filament detection is nice, but based on some of my experiences with my Anycubic i3, at least with that printer, it was problematic. The sensor was triggering incorrectly at times. Well, I guess I could remove this if I had to. It looks like there's only 2 screws to hold it on. With the Anycubic i3, it's very easy to bypass the filament detection. You just pull it off and just leave a piece of filament in there and you're good to go. So I guess I could do the same thing here if I had to. Even though yeah, I could do the same thing, even though it looks like there are some wires here that tap off of the power connection for the extruder. Now, loading filament is a different experience. It has automatic filament loading, which I do have some experience with the Anycubic i3. You can do the same thing there. And you know what? I was going to say that it's kind of a disadvantage. You don't really have direct access to the extruder, but upon closer inspection, all I got to do is remove these 2 screws, and there probably is a spring assembly in there that I could just load this like I do most 3D printers, where you just squeeze the spring and just shove it up. As is, you insert the filament down below. You go through the menus on the touch screen to load filament. It's a very easy to find menu, and it will just suck it up. It preheats the printhead to 180 degrees, and it will load the filament for you. So I guess it's nice to have that feature automatic, but there are definitely going to be situations where you need to manually load or unload filament, and it looks like to do that you're going to have to remove that cover, which isn't a huge deal. The build plate on this, like I said, this is one of the things that really attracted me to this printer. It's almost an identical size build plate to the CR10. It's 305 by 305. The Z-axis, it has a max height of 320 millimeters, whereas the straight CR10 has a maximum Z height of 400. So the CR10 can go higher, but not a whole lot higher. So I thought that was really cool, and I really like the form factor here as well. The print surface, in addition to being the same size as the CR10, looks like it borrows heavily from the Anycubic Ultra Base. It looks like it looks really like the exact same thing without the badging. And at least so far, my Money Cat is sticking just fine. So I'll let you know if it behaves the same way. That when it cools down, stuff just lifts right off. But I have a feeling that it will. So it looks like it's a really nice build surface. I love the compact form factor. It takes up much less space than the CR10. You know, everything right here is contained. CR10, you have the frame, but then you have the big wonky control box on the side. So the CR10 is taking up another 10-12 inches of desk space than the Jguarora. So that's cool. Leveling the printer is very similar to leveling on most 3D printers, where you have these knobs with spring tensioners. One thing that is not great is the location of these knobs, especially the back ones. They require a little bit of contortion to get to, but I was able to, level the printer. It's a hassle, but it's not impossible. So, and hopefully, you don't have to be leveling it on a regular basis. But knobs are small, location not great, but it does work. The control panel on the printer is functional. It's colorful. I like the control panel on the i3 Mega better. A little more intuitive. I don't know. I just think it's a better execution. But this does work totally. I was able to figure it out without looking at a manual or anything. I haven't figured everything out, but it's not too hard to figure out what you got to do. One of the things you do see right here on the front of the printer, that this also, in addition to have filament out detection, it also has power failure protection, where it uses capacitors. Well, you know what? It might actually use a battery to remember the position of the print head if you lose power, because on the outside of the box it did have a big sticker saying there's a lithium battery inside, which I thought was odd in a 3D printer, but I bet that's why, that it uses that to remember the print head position if the power is lost. So that's a nice feature to have. I usually run my 3D printers on a UPS, so I don't normally have an issue, but that's good for peace of mind. Alright, so that's my initial thoughts on the Jguarora A5. Negatives: the leveling is a little bit of a pain. Obviously it was negative that the Z coupler was broken out of the box, not broken, but stretched out of the box, and luckily I had a replacement on hand. I could fix that problem immediately. The control panel is functional but not elegant, let's just put it that way. Let's see, what else negative wise? The design of the gantry and everything, it's nice and solid. It's literally one solid piece of metal. It looks modern, it hides a lot of the complexity. The downside is it makes it a little bit more difficult if you do have to fix something, like replace a Z coupler like I just had to do. But it was doable. You know, just take some patience and some thinking, and you can do it. But as far as the overall design, as long as you're not servicing the unit, I think it's really, really nice to have a compact format with such a big build volume printer. You know, the build volume is going to be great. It's going to allow me to print something big if my CR10 is offline, which happens more often than I like. So it's nice to have that backup option. So anyways, despite those couple negative things, overall my impression of the printer is positive, my initial impression. I will let you know if that impression changes over time. As I mentioned, I did get this printer on GearBest. It took about 9 days to arrive from China. I will look and see if there's a current discount code for this printer on GearBest, and I will include it in the description below if you're interested. But really, yeah, that's it for now. I need to get some more print time in with this thing and to give you a better idea of what I think of it. I know some others have said that they've had an overall good experience, and I'm looking forward to the same for myself. So, if you found this video helpful, please give it a big thumbs up. If you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing. Feel free to leave your comments or suggestions below. I read them all, and I respond to almost all of them, unless you're a troll. And even if you're a troll, I might respond to you, who knows. But that's all I got for you for now. Hope you have a good weekend coming up, and until next time, Duckman out. Did I mention how quiet this thing is? Quietest printer I have, by a lot.